The following is an AZPM original production.
For AZPM, I'm Mark McLemore, and this is Arizona Spotlight. Coming up, this weekend, an annual event celebrates the intersection between art, community, and two-wheeled transportation. What's it like to win on Jeopardy? I'll talk with Ittai Sopher, a former AZPM producer, about achieving one of his lifelong dreams. Have you considered trying a digital detox? Marquez Price will share his experience. And get a fresh take on some very deep emotions from a second grade class on Stories That Soar. Those stories are next on Arizona Spotlight. Finding transportation that can be both affordable and dependable can be a challenge, but there's a nonprofit organization in Tucson that's been empowering people to do just that since the 1980s. BICAS, a bicycle recycling and education center, provides various programs, including bicycle repair, maintenance, and classes that are designed specifically for women, kids, and those who are mechanically challenged. This Saturday evening, the group is holding its annual fundraiser, which will include music, food, and arts and crafts. Here's Tony Paniagua with an interview.
Antonio Cepeda, the art program coordinator for BICAS, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
BICAS, I have heard about it. It's been around for several years, but who are you? What do you do? And what would you like to let people know about this organization?
Right, yeah, BICAS has been around for several years. It started in 1989 as a small organization called Bootstraps to Share. They were helping unhoused people earn bicycles. Since then, the organization has steadily grown into what it is today. We have several programs that we operate there daily. We help people repair their bicycles, or a teaching shop, as opposed to a regular overnight drop-off repair shop. We love to empower people with the skills needed to repair their bikes, to own their bicycles, and to earn bicycles. And then on top of all that, there's several other community programs that are housed there.
Very hands-on, because I can't just take my bicycle over to you and say, hey, can you fix this flat tire? You'll say, no, you're going to fix your flat tire.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how it usually goes. And most of the time, people are really nice about that. And we also have plenty of local shops that we refer people to who don't want to get hands-on. And that's fine. People are busy, and that's okay. When you sign into our community tools program, there's that. We love to empower people to, roll up their sleeves, get their hands greasy, and wrench on their bikes with us.
You are the art program coordinator. What took you to BICAS, and what's your background as far as Antonio Cepeda is concerned?
Yeah, so I moved here in Tucson in 2021, and shortly thereafter, I accepted the role as art program coordinator at BICAS. I really love the job there. It's the first job I've had that's remotely related to any of my passions or interests. Before then, it was traditional retail work, coffee shops, grocery stores, all of them, basically. And so it was really exciting to be able to jump into a role that I had a lot of passion for off the bat. I've always wanted to create bike art, and now I had the perfect reason to, and I was able to. It's great.
So why have a art program coordinator at a bicycle warehouse, if you will, that helps people?
BICAS has strong roots with the arts. When it was just predominantly volunteer run, just a group of people, of like-minded individuals who decided to do this thing, they were looking for ways to essentially make money for the things they were doing. And so over the years, all these discarded parts that weren't great for cycling anymore, they were great for making art. And so a lot of them did that side hustle. They were making art on the side for the parts that came through that couldn't be reused anymore. Over time, the arts grew in popularity there, and people started reaching out. Hey, do you teach classes? Hey, can you make this bike rack for me? Hey, can you make, this sculpture for me? And we started slowly getting involved in community art programs as well, different markets, different installations around town. And then the need to have a art program coordinator started to become very apparent. And every person that's ever had my role has grown the program to what it is today. That's the art part side of it. Yeah.
All right. And you have the 27th annual art auction coming up this Saturday, which is obviously a very big event for you. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, 27. It hasn't been on 27 years consistently. We've had some off years like COVID. COVID, we stopped a year or two there. But yeah, it grew as, like in the beginning days, it grew as a way to, make money for the organization at the end of the year. It's become an annual event that has really turned into a fundraiser and a celebration of the arts at BICAS, and a community gathering for different artists who weld bike art here in Tucson as well, and who create any type of bike themed art here in Tucson. Anyone who's passionate about a bike and, has an artistic expression, you can find so many different types of art there.
And of course, somebody who is not an artist, you are also inviting that type of audience as well, right?
Yeah. So we invite all of Tucson to come, and the art is displayed, and it's a silent auction. So there's art collectors there as well. A lot of artists who've been donating year after year after year, and they have a name here in Tucson, and so people love collecting their art.
And you typically get anywhere between 200 to 300 pieces that are donated. Is that correct?
Exactly. So we get about around 200 pieces donated, 300. It varies every year. So there's plenty of art for everyone to enjoy and to possibly take home too, if they're the winning bid.
And then, Antonio, let's get a little bit philosophical about bicycles. Many people think of a bicycle just as a tool or apparatus for hobbies or exercise, but it's more than that, especially with the population that you work with. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, the bicycle is a way to have someone, reach another level in life, whether they're looking to, starting over again, whether they're unhoused, refugees, or who were recently incarcerated, and from college kids here. There's a lot of college kids that go through there, and so we see the bicycle as a way to empower someone to know what they're riding on through the education, and also to achieve the goals that they want in life if they don't have reliable transportation.
What keeps you so excited about working at BICAS and being the art program coordinator over there?
It's great. It ties into so many things I'm passionate about. I was also a cyclist before I started working at BICAS. In San Diego, I would ride my bike everywhere to get to work as well. And also I have a background in the arts, from drawing to music to theater, very artistic person. And so it's nice to be able to be in a space where I can live these passions out and help people out. It's very fulfilling work for me.
Antonio Cepeda, the art program coordinator at BICAS here in Tucson, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with the event.
Thank you so much.
The annual BICAS Art Auction is Saturday, December 7th from 5 to 9 p.m. It's free, all ages, and open to the public. BICAS is located at 2001 North 7th Avenue near Stone and Grant. For more information about the event, including photos of some of the locally created artwork, there's a link on the Arizona Spotlight page at azpm.org. Just as some kids grow up being determined to one day play in the NFL or the NBA, some kids dream of being recognized for their mastery of knowing the question to any given answer. Jeopardy is recognized as one of the most difficult trivia game shows of all time. And earlier this year, I found out that a friend, Ittai Sopher, a former U of A student who once worked on this show, was actually a Jeopardy contestant. He won 2 games and was then invited back to take part in the annual Tournament of Champions. I thought it might be fun to talk with Ittai Sopher about his experience on Jeopardy.
Well, the nutshell is that it took a really long time. So I started trying out for the show when I was in 8th grade, which is around when I started watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that the test, you could only take it once a year now, but it used to be that you could only take it at a very specific time each year. And I remember, as a kid, sometimes, I grew up in a very religious household, and the day would sometimes fall out on Jewish holidays, so it would always be really stressful, when would that day fall out? more recently they switched it, and you could actually take the test anytime you want, but you can only take it once a year. And so I had been taking it since I was in 8th grade, so like 12 years later, and I finally got a callback. And then from that callback, they basically administered another test like over Zoom. And then from that callback, I just got kind of further down the road, and then I was eventually on the show. But I really didn't think that callback was going to lead to anything, since I had never gotten a callback before.
Okay, so you find out you're going to be on this show. What was your to-do list? What was your mental preparation for that?
I think Jeopardy is really something that you prepare your whole life for.
I think so too, yeah.
For me, I was just like, well, I know what I know, and there are certain things that I don't know, like how much I can access, but I was like, let me try to make lists of things that come up on the show a lot, because I found that watching every episode over the past few years, there were certain things that they would ask a lot of questions about. So
Off the top of my head, I can give you two, Ittai.
Yeah.
The Great Lakes and royalty.
Oh, yeah. Royals, yes. So I try to memorize like all of the British monarchs. Those are good to know. I think just lakes in general.
Yeah.
Just geography is really good to know. Capitals, I already knew most of them, but I wanted to learn all of them before I was on the show, because it'd be annoying if a capital comes up and you're like, oh, well, I could have just studied that. Like, why didn't I just study that? So
Yeah.
those random topics like, I don't know, Oscar Best Picture winners, whatever, lists of things are just like really fun to me. And I guess to other people, throwing a Frisbee around is more fun.
When you were going into the studio, what kind of things were on your mind? Kind of put us in the place of what it feels like to step up in front of those lights and to actually hold the little buzzer thing in your hand.
So nervous. Like I really can't even emphasize enough how nervous I was.
But did you think your opponents were also nervous? You
know what? I get the vibe that some of them were. I also get the vibe that some of them were kind of like, holy cow, I get to be on TV. Like, this is just great. Like, if this is all that happens, this is great. Just being a student of the show, I guess. I really just wanted to show that I know something. I felt like I had something to prove. I'm sure everyone was nervous, but I don't know. Mine wasn't so much stage fright. It was I just wanted to do well. And the thing about Jeopardy is there's so many variables. It's the questions, it's the opponents, what they know, where you are placed in Final Jeopardy. It's there's so much that, could fall within or without your favor,
So your first day, how were you feeling during the game as you approached Final Jeopardy?
I was in the lead, and if you're in the lead going into Final Jeopardy, as long as you get Final Jeopardy right and you do the correct wagering, so wagering is a whole other ball game. You have to I studied how to do that for a while. You just have to get the question right. But I'm what if there's just a question that I don't know, and what if I get it wrong? So the question was about a 1931 Charlie Chaplin film that shared a title with a West Coast bookstore. So I actually had no idea about City Lights, the bookstore.
Oh, yeah.
When they said 31 Chaplin film, I was okay, that's City Lights. That was all I knew.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a very niche trivia question, but then my two opponents also knew it. So it was really on me to get it right. If I didn't get it right, I would have, been toast.
What surprised you the most when you were able to come home and collect your thoughts and think about the experience? What was it that defied your expectations the most? Can you pinpoint something?
It was the community that really defied my expectations. And I think a lot of people will tell you who have been on Jeopardy that, they make such a solid group of friends. And I really felt that. And it wasn't just friends. It was after I was on the show, I heard that a bunch of Jeopardy people were going to Vegas for a trivia convention sort of. And I was I'm there. I love Vegas. I love gambling. So I went out there, and it's just kind of lifelong friends. And I want to tell you, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to tell you a very interesting story that came out of some of the friends I was on Jeopardy. But I don't want to, take too long. I haven't really talked about this a lot, but earlier this year, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, and right after the doctor told me that I had it, a nurse in the hospital recognized me from Jeopardy. So that was first. So Jeopardy was basically the first thing on my mind. And I remembered that on the week of my show, there had been someone who was on the show who was talking about, his battle with cancer. He was a friend of mine, and I had never, talked to him about cancer outside of the show. It just wasn't like a topic that, we spoke about. I just, I heard him talk about it on the show, and I associated him with that. And so I just reached out to him, and it turns out that, not only did we have the same type of cancer, we ended up like having the same like surgeon, like in the same hospital. And there were all these like crazy procedures that I like went through this year, and he like also had them, and he was kind of like talking me through like what it was like and all that stuff. So like it was really like during that time, like, Jeopardy really provided me with something that was, really special. So it was, I'm really grateful for that.
Well, Ittai, I just feel enormous compassion for what you went through. My God, what a horrifying ordeal, regardless of anything else. I'm so glad you had a friend.
Isn't that crazy though? Like that, like it was the coincidence of it all. Like I don't think I knew anyone else who had like cancer ever. Like, and then it just happened to be, it was just so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you clear now?
They're like going to check on me like every 3 months, but like I'm pretty much like I have like a 6% chance of relapse. Okay. So yeah, I'm just grateful for Jeopardy. I feel like it helped me enter adulthood in a way. Like I feel like I have kind of like an adult group of friends.
Okay. Last question, and this may be awkward for you to answer. It's probably one of the first things people ask you about your experience, though. When I tell people that I know someone who was on Jeopardy, they always ask me, how much did he win? Do you have a ballpark figure you can give us?
Yeah, I mean, it's public knowledge. I think, if you FOIA it, it'll come up. I won 32,000, and I don't remember like the digits at the end, but there was 32,000 and some change, subject to some taxes. But it was life changing. I just was a recent college graduate. I don't know. I don't make a ton of money, so it was just life changing. And I feel like I got to kind of really enjoy life, and like I feel like with like a little bit of money, like it's like things are less scary, and you can take on the world a little more. So I'm just really grateful for that.
What's something that you're willing to admit that you splurged on?
I traveled a lot. I went, let me think. I want to think of something specific, but I just traveled a lot, honestly. I have friends who live all over the country. So anytime they'd be like, oh, like, let's hang out, I would just be like, yeah, let's do it. Like this is,
instead of being like, oh yeah, maybe next year. Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
It just, traveling was definitely the thing I spent, probably like splurged the most on.
Wow.
I love traveling.
Well,
I love people.
That's great. You're a people person. You are. I talked with former Arizona Spotlight production assistant Ittai Sopher, who is now a news producer in Washington, D.C., as well as being a 2-time Jeopardy champion. How much screen time would you say you do in a day, or a week, or how about a year? Next, some thoughts on what a digital detox can help one achieve. Our essayist is Marquez Price, an author, poet, and entrepreneur, the founder and CEO of LLC Teach One Publishing. Marquez Price is an outside contributor to AZPM, and the opinions he expresses are his own. Music for this segment by Brian Lopez.
I had a paradoxical epiphany recently while I was holding and looking at the screen of my Android. In the age of technology, where almost anything can be accessed by the kiss of a fingertip and a touchscreen, I started to contemplate what negative effects of screen time could I ascertain through a week of digital detox. Digital detox is known as a period during which one refrains from using electronic devices such as computers or smartphones, and is regarded as an opportunity to reduce focus or stress on social interaction in the physical world. Society's dependence on digital devices has increased substantially in recent years. From laptops and smartphones to smart appliances and wearable technology, these devices have become essential and ubiquitous parts of daily life. They facilitate communication, entertainment, health management, shopping, and work, amongst others. Nevertheless, this dependence also elevates perturbation about cybersecurity, privacy, and the digital divide. As technology resumes advancement, society's reliance on digital devices is likely to enlarge further, sculpting how we interact with the world as we know it. I wondered if being bereft of technological advantages would make me feel prehistorically inept when I rendered my phone to a mere landline, eschewing all apps and cheat codes afforded by the bells and whistles of a smartphone that facilitate the simplest daily tasks. Detoxing digitally has helped me realign healthily with her primarily, as well as others in situations where technology decimates intimate interaction. It has helped me zero in closer through the lens of appreciation when I see my parents on the weekends, beholding the bestowed blessings of still having them both. I laugh a little harder when a friend cracks a joke, amplifying group guffaws during gatherings. My girlfriend reciprocates the same sensory perception I am grateful for. Overall, I feel better and reconnected. Digital connection creates the illusion of connection, and I can see how excessive reliance on digital communication can lead to feelings of isolation and social withdrawal, especially when face-to-face interactions are neglected. To address these issues, I think it's crucial to prioritize face-to-face interactions, establish distinct boundaries for digital usage, work at active listening and empathy in digital communication, and nurture a healthy balance between online and offline interactions. I'm Marquez Price for Arizona Spotlight.
Marquez Price's debut poetry collection was called My Train is on Schedule. His latest book of essays is Return of the Observer from LLC Teach One Publishing. The Tucson nonprofit Literacy Connects sponsors a professional group of performers and musicians called Stories That Soar. Their mission is to help young writers realize the potential of bringing their stories to life for the stage, video, and radio. This week, we'll hear a story written collaboratively by Ms. Bolt's second grade class at Fruchtendler Elementary.
Emotions. I feel exuberant because it's my birthday!
I feel exuberant because in 28 days, it's gonna be my birthday party.
Emotions.
I feel blue.
I feel blue.
I feel blue.
I feel blue.
I feel blue because I miss my dad.
Because my sister fell down.
Because my brother is sick.
Because my mother wouldn't play with me.
Emotions.
I feel nervous because I thought I might have nightmares.
I feel terrified because I didn't want to get caught.
I feel petrified because I heard footsteps at 12:30.
I feel nervous.
Petrified.
Emotions.
I feel joyful. I feel joyful. I feel joyful. I like to feel joyful.
I feel grumpy because I have to do homework. Grumpy.
Emotions.
I feel exuberant because I played with my friends. Yesterday, I was angry because my socks got wet in the grass. And then, a few days ago, I felt jubilant because we got donuts before school.
I felt mournful because my dad yelled at me.
And sometimes I'm afraid because I feel like a monster is coming to get me in the dark.
I feel depressed because I couldn't have ice cream. And then I became irate and stomped and I made an angry face. And then I became in timeout.
Emotions.
Blue.
Happy.
Petrified.
Irate.
Nervous.
Jubilant. Grumpy.
Mournful.
Exuberant.
Emotions.
That was Emotions, written by Ms. Bolt's second grade class at Fruchthendler Elementary. Go Firebirds! Aspiring student-age writers can submit their stories to the Magic Box Story Portal now at literacyconnects.org. And you'll hear more Stories That Soar every month on Arizona Spotlight. Thank you for listening. This show is a production of AZPM. The production engineer is Jim Blackwood. Production assistance by Sophia Hammer. I'm producer and host Mark McLemore.
AZPM podcasts are made possible in part by donations from listeners like you. Learn more at support.azpm.org. Thank you.